Hey guys, Matt from TOTALmtg here, and welcome to another deck tech on the channel this week. So what have I got for you? I've got, for all you blue mages out there, it's modern, it's mono blue control, time to use Jace the Mind Sculptor. Now don't forget, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button if you can, and all of you hit that like button, it really does help support the channel for free. Without further ado, let's get on to the deck. So here we go, everyone. It's mono blue control for all you blue mages out there. And for those that are just thinking, maybe I will swap to the dark side and start playing blue. This is the deck brew that I've made for you. Coming in at a whopping $985. It is blue. 425 tickets though, so that's much better. Anyway, they were from my sponsors, Monastery, so make sure you go and check them out. The links will all be below. So, let's have a look at this deck. First off with this deck, we're going to have a look at the spells. I usually go creatures first, but this is a blue deck. We don't run many creatures. We're going to start off with what we've got in our hand and the tools we're going to have to dismantle our opponent's decks. And basically, just say no. So, we have 4 Serum Visions, the draw card, scry 2 for 1 mana, the absolute staple in blue decks. Serum Visions, great card. Sorcery, makes no difference, it is amazing. Will help you find what you need. Spell Snare is a one-off counter-target spell with common mana cost 2. It's going to hit the Tarmogoyfs, the Bobs, a lot of good cards. Spell Snare can just say, no thank you, it's not coming onto the battlefield. Then we have Mana Leak, 4 of Mana Leak, counter-target spell, unless the controller pays 3. This is obviously sometimes a lot better early in your games, in your hand. It can be good late game when they're tapping out for something really big and you've got a little money, you think, oh, it's not going to be no good, but then they just tap out and then Mana Leak will shine for you. On to the next spells, we have a 1 of Negate, and the great card that's come from Standard. It hits all my modern blue decks, which is Search for Azcanta, because it literally does let you search for what you want. This is what you want in a blue card. Beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library, you either put it in your graveyard, and then when it's got 7 more lands, you can flip it and then start searching for your cantrips and everything like that, your spells, or you just keep using it as just siphoning your top card and, you know, basically finding what you need. 4 Spreading Seas, Trons everywhere. There's lots of decks in there that use special lands. So Spreading Seas is essential for us. And we're blue as well. So, you know, it's total disruption. Let's just draw a card for 2 mana and potentially shut our opponent off what they need. On to the next spells we have. We've got a 1 of Disallow. I do like this. I know it's a standard card. It does cost 3, but it's, you know, the counter-target spell or activate ability or triggered ability can be very, very good. When people are trying to ultimate Planeswalkers, I do like this card. People use Lily. People are using Jaces. You know, we will use this card as a 1 of. It's very good, and maybe we'll be up to 2 in this mono blue deck. Supreme Will is there as a 1 of as well. It's a cheeky little counter spell. You know, it counters it unless they pay 3, does cost 3, so it's not in Mana Leaks form. But the other part of it, where you get to look at the top 4 cards of your library, put 1 in your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library, you might just be able to find that extra special counter spell, which is the next one we look at, which is Cryptic Command. We have to have 4 of these. We're mono blue. It's probably the most, you know, it's one of the best counter spells in the modern game. You get to choose 2 things that you want to do. So you counter target spell, return a permanent, or tap those creatures down, which can save you a turn to help you win a game. And of course, you can always draw a card. So that is there as a 4 of. We got a couple of Logic, not the Delve spell, counter target spell, the controller has to pay X. We got a Blue Sun Zenith there, just a 1 of because it gets shuffled back into the library and you can just draw cards. And of course, one of our win cons, because with this deck, I have managed the -12 a couple of times now. Jace the Mind Sculptor is back in Modern. You know me, I'm a blue mage. I love this. I've wanted to put it straight away into a mono blue deck. Yes, it won't be tier 1, but it can still be competitive, this deck. I know by adding the extra colours, you can say add in white, add in black. It obviously makes the deck a lot better by making it Esper or blue-white control. But this is for the blue mage in me. I had to make this deck. And Jace the Mind Sculptor in mono blue, what else could you ask for? So let's look at the creatures now. We got Snapcaster Mage, little Snapcaster, but not little in power. 2-1, but what the, it enters the battlefield, you can target your instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. It gains flashback until the end of turn. We can flashback this in, put in a counterspell. You know how Snapcaster works. It's really, really effective. A 1-of Vendilion Click there. The legendary creature Fairy Wizard. Just a 3-1 flyer, which can do damage as well. But when you enter the battlefield, you get to look at your target player's hand and choose any non-land card from it. And then basically, if you do, the player reveals the chosen card, puts it at the bottom of their library. They do get to draw a card out of it. But Vendilion Click, you can get something, that very powerful from their hand. Maybe flash it in early, get a Khan, get an Ugin, anything like that. Vendilion Click can come in, put it at the bottom, and then they just will not be able to play it until maybe they draw another one. So, the one other creature we got as well, we got actually 2 more creatures. The first one is Torrential Gearhulk, Big Daddy Snap. So this is a 5/6 body, but does cost 6, whereas the Mage only costs 2. But when this enters, you may cast target instant card from your graveyard without casting its mana cost, and then obviously it gets exiled. But with this creature, you get a big body, a big 5/6, so you'll be able to trade off with a lot of the creatures in the format. And this is one of our win cons as well, where hopefully we've cancelled out the game and no one can play any spells, and then we're just left with the Torrential Gearhulk to win the game. But if not, we've got one of my favourite cards that was in blue when it was in standard. It is the one and only Aetherling. Aetherling, so hard to deal with when you've got open mana in blue. 4/5 body, pay 1, return it to the battlefield under its own control. You get to exile it and bring it back. You can make it unblockable. You can pump it, depump it. You can do whatever you want. It is a very, very strong creature. Yes, it costs 6, but by the time we're tapping out for this, we're hoping indeed, we've demoralised our opponent. We've taken everything they can good to play. And then the Aetherling will come down, smash your opponent, and win us the game. So let's take a look at the land base. It couldn't be more simpler, this land base. You could say you could add Field of Ruin, maybe. But we've got all blue cards. We're not going to run, we're mono blue, so we don't need to run extra lands in this control deck. We've just got all islands and 4 Ghost Quarters, maybe just to disrupt a bit of our opponent's land base. Ghost Quarter, tap it, destroy target, non-basic land. Nice card. This is our land base. So before we get to the sideboard, let's take a look at the strategy of this mono blue control if it couldn't be any more obvious that it tried. It is basically card draw, sort your draws out, counter, 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 whatever you can. Do not let your opponent play spells, and if they do, try and do something about them. Get your cryptic command, tap them down so they can't attack you. Try and protect Jace at all costs if you can to get to that -12. If any of you do build this deck, and I know it's very, very expensive, but maybe you hire some cards like you do from my sponsors, Mana Traders, and you can actually hire this deck, that would be really good. See what you think of it. Mono blue, it's not cheap, but it's blue. Blue is not a cheap colour, and this, you can make any colour cheap. But what I'm saying is, if you want to make something quite competitive, it's going to be dear in Modern. But you've got creatures like Aetherling, Torrential Gearhulk that can win you the game as well. But, once you get that Aetherling down, it will be very, very hard for your opponent to deal with. As long as you play it right, leave up the open mana so you can exile, bring it back. But with this deck, you've got enough ways to counter what your opponent's doing. You've certainly got enough card draw, disrupt him with their lands. Just protect your Jace and let him shine. So let's take a look at the sideboard now. We've got blue and a lot of colourless as well. Ceremonious Rejection with counter target colourless spell. There's a lot of that stuff like that out there. Dispel as a 1-of coming in as well. Bring it in against burn, anything like that. Disdainful Stroke can come in against the big decks that are trying to play things that are bigger, 4 or greater. It's a nice little counter spell. It only costs 2, and it will counter, majority of something big that will do a lot of damage to you. So Negate is there as an extra one as well. And what we can bring in from the sideboard, because we do have a lot of cantrips, we've got a lot of ways to instance and stuff like that. We've got Thing in Ice there. So Thing in Ice can come in. And when you've got playing against, heavy creature-based decks, this is what you sometimes want to bring into your main board. It's a 0/4, it's going to be a good blocker. It can come down early as turn 2. Now, obviously, it's susceptible to Fatal Push, the same sort of stuff, Gets away from Bolt, though. It's only a 0/4, so you're not going to hit it with Bolt, but obviously it can be pathed away because a lot of creatures carry the format. But if you can protect this, like I say, they put their creatures down, they're going to be a bit wary because once it flips, they all go back, and then you've got a big 7/8 Kraken. that's what you like. So we've also got a Pith Needle to help us against Planeswalkers and anything hard. Relic Progenesis is there as the graveyard decks, which is, you know, Relic Progenesis. Maybe we need a bit more than just this for the graveyard effects, but we've got a one-off Relic. Let me know what you think in the comments about that. And then I've got a full 4 playset of Ratchet Bomb. So we haven't got Wraths in this deck. We've got Control because it is mono blue. We haven't got Black for the Damnations or, you know, anything like that. So Ratchet Bomb, we can put charge counters on it. We've got 4 of them in there. Destroy each non-land permanent with covered amounts equal to the number of charge counters on it. So we can do this multiple times by having 4. And if we need to bring this in, you know, get rid of all those 1-drops, the Goblin Guys, the Monastery Swiftspears, get rid of the 2-drops, you know, stuff like that. This will help us. Ratchet Bomb is a nice, sweet card, and it makes the sideboard. So I really hope you liked this week's deck, guys. Like I said at the start, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're new to us, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back with another deck tech very soon, so make sure you hit the bell. The bell is very important, so you never miss a video from TOTALmtg. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.